years, 2001 to 2003, I was having problems sleeping because I kept waking up not able to breathe through my nose right, and dizzy from it. So my oxygen was evidently being cut off. So I went to my regular MD, who tried to help me, and followed up with some other physicians who tried to help me, but they couldn't seem to help me with this problem. This was from 2001 to 2003 approximately. It was annoying, but I was just living with it, struggling with it. One day I thought, I am going to call my insurance and find out what doctors I can go to, what ENT specialists. So I got a list from them, some names, but I didn't recognize any of these names. I didn't know who these doctors were. So I happened to talk to a lady that lived in the town that they were practicing at, and asked her if she recognized any of these physicians, and if so, who would she recommend? She did recognize one ENT physician, and said he had taken out her daughter's tonsils and that she really liked him. So I felt like that this was a good recommendation and that I would go see this doctor. So I made an appointment and went to see this ENT physician, who seemed very pleasant, nice at the time, and we discussed my problem, and he said, we can just fix that. It's not a hard thing to fix. He explained that there were two ways, surgery or another procedure, and I asked him which one he thought would do the best job. What would he recommend? And he said he recommended surgery. So we set up my surgery for my nose to be fixed on February 25th in 2003. I felt like this was nothing to this, that I shouldn't have no problems. There was nothing brought up about having problems afterwards. So I felt good about it and had just thought there wasn't much to this. I wouldn't have any problems afterwards. Everything would be fine. Well, after I had the nose surgery, I was having problems with my nose. I knew something wasn't right. I went back to the doctor several times, telling him that I was continually having problems and I didn't know why, and he kept giving me different nose sprays and having me try different things, and this continued on for I don't know how many months exactly. And so one day he just came out and said to me, you need to go find another doctor. I don't know what else to do for you. You just have to go find another doctor. And I, at that time, said, no, I don't want to go find another doctor. I wanted him to help me. But he said, no, go find another doctor to help you. I don't feel like I can help you anymore. So I thought, well, now I have to go find another doctor, I guess. I didn't know what to do. I was just like devastated that he had told me to go find another doctor. I told my husband, we talked over the situation. At one point he even called and talked to this doctor on the phone. And this doctor even said to my husband that he thought it just might possibly be something in my mind. And that really ticked me off. I knew something was wrong, and it wasn't just in my mind. Like, when it seems like some doctors, not all of them, don't know what to do for you, they just say it's in your mind. So I had to figure out another doctor to go to. And I got a recommendation to another doctor. And he was really nice. And he really did try to help me, really sincere. And he knew there was something wrong. And I even read in one of the statements that he said there seemed to be a lot of missing tissue or something in my nose. But anyway, he didn't know how to help me anymore. And he felt sorry for me. So he decided to send me to Mayo Clinic. Well, before I go on about my trip to Mayo Clinic, I wanted to bring this up also to let you know how this has affected our family, all of us, our lives, in so many ways. During this period of time, my mother was dying from colon cancer. she had surgery, and the doctor told us after the surgery she's full of colon cancer. Well, I got so wrapped up with this nose thing that somehow I ignored her condition. I didn't hardly go to even see her. I was going all over trying to get my nose fixed, and I deserted her, and she died. And then one day I got a call and said, your mother has just passed away. And that was like, wow, she died. Now what? My own mother has even died during this time, and so I had to stop and help make funeral arrangements for her and bury her. Okay, so I proceeded. She died in February of 2004. Between May and June, I made my first trip to Mayo Clinic that was scheduled in 2004. I made several trips. They ran several tests, different things, and my last visit, the ENT physician examined me some more, really looked up inside my nose, and said to me, you have empty nose syndrome. I had never heard of this condition before, and I didn't understand what it even was. I said, well, I did have nose surgery. He said, yes. He said, you have, it's empty in your nose. Your turbinates, there's not much turbinates left. And this was just like devastating. I'm like, well, can you help me on it? No. He said, I can't help you either. There's nothing to do to fix it. I'll just give you a bottle of oil, which didn't help. So there I left, all my hope of getting my nose fixed. Really feeling down, hopeless, even more. I had went to Mayo Clinic, and they couldn't even help me. I came home, and I sank deeper and deeper into deep depression, hopelessness, anger, despair. It was just horrible, and I had no hope of even getting help, so I just took different pills, pain pills, other pills, just to try to get by, and then I was somewhat drugged up and depressed and not functioning well and in bed a lot, and it was terrible, and my husband was upset with this, and I didn't know what else to do, and my daughter, who was a small child at the time, well, younger than she is now, not real small, I don't remember her exact age, she was like, anybody say anything, and she's like, yeah, Mom's in bed a lot. And so one day I realized I can't hide this anymore, this depression from her. I didn't want her to see me like this. I just didn't want her to see her mother like in this condition, and so I told my husband, I said, I've got to go somewhere. I've got to do something. I was so depressed I couldn't crawl out of this deep hole. I was just like so deep in depression I couldn't get out, and I knew it. So he took me to a hospital, an ER, and I told him, I said, I can't take it any longer. I said, I need help, or I said, I'm just going to have to find a way to kill myself. I said, I can't take this any longer. I can't live like this any longer. So they decided to put me on the psych ward, and I agreed because I didn't know what else to do. Well, they did go over my medications, and they realized a lot of them weren't right, and they made some changes, and they were very nice to me, and we talked about my nose condition, and they realized a lot of my depression was because of my empty nose syndrome.